All right. Hey there, kids. I'm Uncle Cheese Nose McGee. I'm Uncle Comic Book Loving Dude, and today on the fun time, thrilling episode of Uncle. Look, kids. The point of today's episode is I want to talk to you kids about The Boys. The Boys season 2. The Boys season 2. This is gonna be a review of it. I don't know. They're gonna be spoilers. I don't know. I haven't recorded it yet, so I don't know. I'll decide, and I'll try to warn you if there's gonna be spoilers. But anyways, I want to talk about The Boys season 2. What is that? What are we talking about today, man? Well, that's a fun time TV show. It's on, what is that? Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime. People love Amazon Prime. I don't particularly love the company of Amazon. They don't pay enough taxes, and they seem like fucking real dirty dirtbags. But Amazon Prime makes a good TV show. I really enjoyed The Boys. Eric Kripke's the guy who's in charge of the show. He was the guy who did that show Supernatural. He did some other stuff, but I only watch Supernatural, so that's all I know. And it's based on a comic book. That's probably the number one reason why I'm watching this show, is that it was based on a comic book. It was written by Garth Ennis and originally drawn and sort of series created by Derek Robertson, and then a bunch of other people also helped draw it as well. But it's Garth and Derek's book. That's who fucking did it, man. Derek Robertson, who did Transmetropolitan, and I know him as one of the artists who did fucking New Warriors. He's my favorite speedball artist. But that means nothing to the likes of you. You don't fucking care about that stuff. So The Boys season 2. What a fun time. What a fun time season and episodes show this was. You know, I often, here's how I rate things when I watch them. The bottom line is, do I regret spending time watching this show? No, I don't. As a matter of fact, I enjoyed watching the show, and I believe most all of the episodes I watched twice. Sometimes that was because I would watch with my partner, or I watched by myself, and that's what you do. And other times it was like there's a few scenes where I go back and I'm like, oh man, I gotta watch this scene again. I want to hear that dialogue. I want to watch that exchange. And there's some really good stuff in it, you know. It's the combination of the cinematography and the acting and the writing. It all kind of merges together to make something it's solid. It's a really solid show. I feel like they haven't yet quite hit their, like, you know, I mean, the high watermark for me would be like True Detective season 1. For me, that's a show that, like, I've watched that like 9 or 10 times, and every time I watch it, I pick out different details, or I just fucking get submerged in it. But I've been thinking about this before, and I think that is something to do with its character-driven stories versus plot-driven stories. And I think for me, I prefer a character-driven story. I prefer a character piece. And this story, The Boys, kind of orients between it, like sometimes it's one, sometimes it's the other. But most TV tends to be more plot-based. Those are the kind of stories you have to do. You can do character stories within it, but it's very difficult to pull that sort of thing off. It makes me think about, like, what was that episode of Buffy where her mom died? It was all very just sort of quiet and atmospheric. Anyway, I like The Boys. The creators clearly love the comic book. When you look at a lot of comic book adaptations, I'm talking about shit like, man, those fucking Superman and Justice League movies of recent, anything Bryan Singer's done. He's a fucking difficult piece of shit, but allegedly a piece of shit. But he made a fucking Superman Returns and a bunch of X-Men movies, and all those fucking movies, they clearly don't give a fuck about the comic book. Like, nobody's sitting there with the comic book saying, man, I fucking love these comics. I just want to see them up on the screen. There's a real, like, well, the fans want to see something that looks kind of like the book, so we'll do our best, but honestly, we're doing something else. When you watch The Boys, you can tell the people who are making this show love the original comic. It's very different from the original comic. The characters are all very different. They resemble. And there's little moments. There's moments where they'll take like a scene, or they'll take dialogue, or they'll take a perspective, but they'll swap a couple of things around. It's a thing you could only make if you really fucking love the comic book. and these guys really fucking love the comic book. The other interesting thing about it is, despite the fact that it's a show about fucking superheroes, I'm not even fucking talking about what the show's about. I just assume fucking if you know, it's The Boys season 2. Like fucking you either know what it is or you don't. It's a show where superheroes exist, but they're all fucking dirtbags, and then these dudes are trying to fight against them, the boys. But the show talks about like all this real world stuff. Like there's examples of like workplace racism. There's a scene that brings up like spousal abuse, and it's really fucking powerful stuff. There's the like right-wing political agitation of violence, the lone wolf shooters being driven mad by an angry media that really only exists to sell products. They really get to some of the nuances of how these things impact people and the sort of corporate motivations that drive them in the first place, which is all just profit. And there's all this shit where, yeah, man, it profits you to anger people, to make people afraid. It keeps them tuned in, and if people are tuned in, then advertisers will keep buying fucking advertising, and like all of this just so you can keep the fucking lights on your fucking business. I do, my good, the one thing that like once the season is over and I have time to sort of look at it and think about it, my one big request, my big issue, my problem with the whole thing is I do wish there was more, and I know how this is going to sound, but I wish there was more violence in the series. There isn't enough violence in the series for me. There isn't enough visceral, like humans beating up superheroes with crowbars and baseball bats. That's what you see in all the posters for the show, is you see these fucking motherfuckers with like crowbars and baseball bats saying, we're gonna beat the shit out of some superheroes. And I want to see that, man. I want to see some fucking like old boy shit. Like I like violent media. I do. I fucking hate violence in real life, and that's part of why I like violence in media, because violence is like a metaphor when it's done in fucking cinema. You're appreciating a whole bunch of other things, man. When you watch fucking Donnie Yen beat up 12 dudes in a fucking like martial arts tournament movie thing, you're not like sad because this dude has to like pummel these guys. You're just impressed because look at all these fucking cool martial artists. They're all working together. This is a movie. This isn't real. And the fucking boys are the same. Like I like seeing violence in cinema. I don't like seeing violence in the real world. That's how I'm at. And I wish there was more intense violence in the boys, of like people really fucking going after each other. That's just the kind of stuff I like, though. You know, I'm willing to admit. Goddamn bunch of goddamn birds outside my window fucking yelling and stuff. I don't know if Mike's picking them up, but they're out there. What else? What else is going on in the boys? I need more Mother's Milk. I really like Mother's Milk, but I do not get enough of him. Frenchie is still one of my very favorite characters in the whole show. I just love it. I love every fucking time he opens his mouth. All of his little idiosyncratic personality traits, the writers and the actor, they have nailed this character and turned him into something that I just fucking love. I thought there was going to be more about racism and Nazis. When the show said that like season 2 was going to be taking on the way that like right-wing politics have really gotten in bed with white supremacy, though in fact the two of them have been deeply entwined since the very fucking beginning of the fucking political system. Anyway, I thought there would be more about that in the show. There were elements of it. It's what the season was about, and at the same time I was expecting there would be a little more to it. I thought they had some really good moments and they did good with what they were doing, but I was expecting them to do more with it. And then again, it's sort of like the thing with the violence of when it was done, it was like, oh, I guess that's all we get. I thought there would be more of that. I thought there would be more, I don't know, declarative statements about or against, or just kind of like talking about the history or the sociology of these things. Just like in the same way that I really thought there would be more of just like, hey, was that some fucking asshole superhero? Well, I got a fucking crowbar and I'm gonna fucking beat him to death and you're gonna watch me do it and it's gonna be real fucking nasty. Cause you know, that's what I bought my ticket to take the ride and that's the ride I wanted to take. Anyways, The Boys season 2. fucking Eric Kripke and a whole bunch of really cool people all working on it. It's a shame that I only give him credit for it because he's just one fucking goober working on the show. I really like the show. I watched it. I'm gonna watch it again. I'm gonna watch season 3. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna read all the comic books, and that's what you should do, you little fucking monsters. Go out and buy some fucking comic books. That's what I fucking advocate on this show. I don't fucking benefit from that. I'm fucking Uncle Schmiggy McGee, and I don't fucking know nothing about nothing. So share, like, and subscribe to this video. Thank you so much for being along for the whole fucking ride. And I guess I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. Leave a comment if you want to see some more of this kind of stuff or something. I don't fucking know. I don't know. Are we done? Cool.
Oh yeah, that's all she wrote.